Good day, and welcome to the Impact Investing Show with your host, Samuel Ikinwin. Guys, it's a pleasure to be here on tonight's show. This is now currently day 13 of your 21 days of property investing success. Now, listen, guys, I just want to share this with you off the front of tonight's show. Guys, we're going live. We're here live. If you're here, if you're tuned in, don't forget to say hi in the comments. I'm going to put that little sticker up at the bottom. Don't forget to leave a comment and say hi. But guys, listen, this is what I wanted to say to you. Massive. Let me say it one more time. Massive appreciation to you and to everyone else in the community who has decided over the last couple of days / weeks to subscribe, to hit the like button, to share all of the content that we are actually putting out on this channel. Guys, on the last 12 days, we have given out so much value, but what's been even more important, we've seen results. We've got people who are basically letting us know that they are getting immense value from these 21 days of your property investing success. So guys, my hat off is to you, or my hat is off to you. I think that's the better way to say it. It is a great achievement. It's a great feeling, okay, emotionally, and also just in terms of knowing that you had an intention. We had an intention to support people in terms of moving forward and seeing that intention materialize. All right. So a great big thank you to all of you who have taken the things that we've been sharing with you in the last 12 days. And we're going to share with you also today. And you've actually utilized them. The last 2 days, both Monday and Tuesday of this week, we ran the show at a lunchtime. And the reason we did that is we wanted to bring in a few of the people who were missing out because we were running the shows live in the evening. Now we're back for the rest of the week to running the show in the evening, 8 p.m. You will see us on Thursday, which is tomorrow. 8 p.m. you will see us on Friday, which is the day after, and 8 p.m. I believe. No, we're going to do the 6 p.m. because we usually have our live show at 6 p.m. traditionally anyway. So on Saturday, we'll be back at 6 p.m. And then on Sunday, I believe on Sunday, we're going to be going at 8 p.m. as regular. And then next week, Monday and Tuesday, again, we may come back to the lunchtime. We may not, but we'll keep you updated. One of the easiest ways to keep yourself updated is to make sure that you smash, yes, I said smash that subscribe button. The easiest way to subscribe to the channel, if you haven't subscribed already, is right here. All you've got to do is press that little blue icon which says subscribe, and the moment you hit that blue icon which says subscribe, the red subscribe button will come up. You can hit that and make sure you press the bell notification so you get kept up to date every single time we go live, every single time we drop a video, every single time we want to give you some more value moving forward in your property investing journey. So guys, let's do this. Let's do this. We got a recap to jump into. We got our disclaimer to read, and we have got value upon value to share with you guys in tonight's show. Guys, let me tell you something. Tonight's show is no joke. Tonight's show is not going to be one of those average shows. Guys, look, there hasn't been an average in the few days that we've been rocking. All right, we've got 21 days of your property investing success. And in my opinion, there hasn't been an average day. But you tell me, because the problem is you don't want me to tell you whether there's been or have not been an average day. You tell me. So jump up into the comments in the live chat and let me know, guys. Let me know if there has been average days in the last 12 days. And if you expect there to be average days going forward up until day 21. Now, I'm looking forward to seeing some comments in the chat. I'm looking forward to seeing some people say hi. I'm looking forward to some people say, Samuel, there's been no average days. I'm equally looking forward to the other set of people who are going to say, Samuel, there has been some average days, because I'm open to the feedback. I'm open to hear what you guys have to say. After all, this is why I do this. I do this to help you guys move forward. So your views count. Your views are probably on a higher pedestal than many other people's views. So let's make this happen. Now, like I usually say, if you are looking forward to the value we are going to be dropping on tonight's show, hit that like button. Let the YouTube algorithm know this is some good content and this is going to be of value to other people who are interested in moving forward in their property investing journey. If you're watching this live right now, jump up into the comments. Let us know you're watching live. If you're brand new, if this is the first time you're joining us on these 21 days of your property investing success, all you need to write in the comments is new, N-E-W, new, and that's it. You don't have to write anything else. You don't have to make it make sense. Just write the word new in the chat and we'll know you're new, and me and the admin team will be able to welcome you, okay, into our stream. Now, if you are someone who's been here before and you're looking forward to getting some value tonight, then all you've got to do is write the word value and then we know exactly what you've shown up here for. So now, without further ado, let's jump straight into our recap, and then straight after our recap, we'll be able to jump straight into our disclaimer. Then straight after our disclaimer, we'll be able to jump straight into tonight's content to give you a 13th principle, a 13th power secret, a 13th way that you can start achieving your property investing success. So let's go into day one. In day one, when we started this journey, the 1st of January 2021. Let me even share with you how we got here. Okay? Early 2020, I had clients, I had students, I had people who had met me from my 100+ person networking event that I used to run in Canary Wharf reach out to me and say, Samuel, the pandemic is here, the lockdown is here, Corona-19, COVID, all of these buzzwords were being shared. People were telling me about how can they pivot, how can they move, how can they still make money in property in the current climate. And I said to them, look, I said to all of these people individually in different ways, I said, listen, you can still win right now. Now's probably a better time to win than the times before. And I started to share with people how they can win. But one of the things I started to notice early last year is I was getting WhatsApp messages, I was getting Telegram messages, I was getting texts, I was getting Facebook messages, I was getting messaged all over social media. We even had YouTube comments where people were asking us, what do I do? How do I move forward? I've just had X amount of tenants move out. How do I move forward? I've just realized that I'm not going to be getting paid this or paid that, etc., etc. So I sat down with the team and I said to the team, look, guys, what can we do in order to offer value, immense value to the community, like we love doing, because that's one of my big passions, to share? How can we give the value to the community and allow them and help them to move forward in their property investing journey in this current climate? And the team said something great. Okay, one of the guys in the team said something powerful. They said, you know what, Samuel, all you need to do is show up on a regular basis and give people the opportunity to engage with you, and you can help them strategize through the storm. And what we basically did as a direct byproduct of that, we created the Impact Show. And the Impact Show was all about helping people strategize through the storm. So when we started last year around March, it was all about strategy in the storm. It was all about helping you strategize in your specific property business through the myriad of dramas that were taking place last year. So that was the plan. That was how we started this off. Then, fast forward to the end of 2020, Q4 of 2020. I said to the team, you know what, there's been a lot of people who have followed us on this journey. We've had so many people who've called in with their questions, with their challenges, with their issues, which we've been able to strategize them through. But as a result of 2020, for so many people being such a horrendous year, I said to the team, you know what, we need to do something different. We want to help people start 2021 the right way. So I said, look, if it's going to be 2021, let's start with 21 days of value, back to back to back. No gaps, just value. So this is exactly how we're here today on day 13 of your 21 days of property investing success. So let's go into our recap. Day one. We started day one by talking about knowing what you want. I started to share on day one that one of the biggest dilemmas I have seen with both my coaching clients, with my students, people that are on our online training, people that have engaged with us in any way, shape or form, even people I've just met in networking events. One of the biggest setbacks for most people on their property investing journey, quite simply, is the simple fact that they do not know what they want. I'll say that again. It's quite simply the fact that many people do not know what they want. Let me ask you this question. You know, you're watching this right now, you're live, or you may be watching this on a replay. It doesn't matter. The question is, do you know what you want? You see, we can keep that question in the context of property, or we can extrapolate that context out of property. It doesn't matter, because if you don't know what you want in your relationships, you probably don't know what you want in your property investing journey also. So I put that question to you. I ask you that question as a friend, from me to you. I ask you that question. Do you know what you want as it pertains to your property investing journey? Because there are so many people who don't. There are so many people who won't. And there are so many people who are going to tell you they can't. And this is one of the things that actually gives you a competitive advantage. If you will take the time to decipher what you want, if you will take the time out to articulate what you want, if you will take the time out to come to a conclusion around what you want specifically as it pertains to your property investing success, I can guarantee you, you will already have a head start on so many others. And guys, this is the problem for so many people. And this is why we started our foundational days, day 1 to day 7, talking from the jump, talking right off the bat about this concept of knowing what you want. And then we shifted in day 2 into me giving you guys a skill, into me telling you guys about a process that will change your life. And that was the long word with the short definition. And that long word was metacognition. Metacognition is a skill that every single successful property investor is using, whether they've heard of the word or not. And I want you to start using metacognition in order for you to advance your property investing success also. So what does metacognition mean? This simply long word with a very simply short definition. And the definition of metacognition, a real short and simple definition of metacognition, is thinking about your thinking. So on day 2, that's what we jumped into. On day 2, that's what we was talking about. On day 2, we deep dived into the concept of metacognition. I gave you guys recommendations in terms of videos and also books that you can use to move forward and create a habit which will support your development of metacognition for the rest of your life. Not just for property, but for anything you want to move forward in. You know, we had someone yesterday on the show, day 12, and they were saying, Samuel, you know, the things you're sharing with us, they're so powerful. I can use them on so many different areas of my life. And guys, this is what I told you from day 1. You see, real keys for success, real principles for success, guys, they are transferable. I'll say that again. Real keys of success, real principles of success, guys, they are transferable. The question is, are you going to transfer them? Let me even say this to start with. Are you going to transfer them from me to you? That's the first thing. Are you going to follow us on the journey from day 1 to day 21? If you've missed out, are you going to catch up on the journey? Are you going to go get the content that you may have missed? The first question is, are you going to allow them to transfer from me to you? But the second question is, are you going to allow them to transfer from you to you? From you in the area of technical head knowledge to you in the area of principle, activity, evaluation and evolution, where you actually consider and ponder these ideas. That's the evaluation. But then you start to take them from concepts and ideas to activities, to practices. And that is the evolution. That's how you shift from the person you are right now, who may be struggling to get property investing success for yourself, to the person you see in your mind who you know has no problem getting property investing success. Guys, let me share something with you. There are many people who know they were born to win. Okay, I'm going to share this. Guys, do I have permission on day 13 to be deep? Let me know. Okay, if I've got permission on day 13 to be deep, just write the word deep in the chat. That's all you've got to write, DEEP. If I have the permission to go deep or to be deep in the chat, then guys, I'm telling you, I'm going to share some stuff with you tonight. Okay? But you've got to ask yourself that question. Okay? Can you be? Do you give yourself permission? Let me even ask you like this, because some people don't ask this question in this fashion, but this is a great way to ask it. Do you give yourself permission? KTR, I see your word deep in the chat. Do you give yourself permission to be the person you see who you know is a success? I don't think you may have asked yourself that question before. Okay? And this is just me being transparent. I know so many people who have never asked themselves that question. And you know the funniest thing, this is the kind of question you don't play with. This is the kind of question you've got to ask yourself. And most likely, if you're wise, you have to ask yourself this question early in your life. Okay? Wise people will ask themselves this question early in their life. Let me ask the question again. Do you give yourself permission? Okay, so the same way I'm asking you for permission, guys, do you give me permission to be deep, to share from a deep level today? The same way I'm asking you for permission, I've got to ask you that question. Do you give yourself permission to be the person that you see in your mind when you think about yourself in terms of property investing success? You see, because there are people who know in here that they were born to win. They are people that know in here they were birthed for success. They are people who know in here that success was made for them. You see, but the problem for so many people is even though they know this stuff, they will wait. They will procrastinate. Guys, the amount of words I could use right now, but let's stay away from the negativity. Okay? And I'm not saying let's stay away from negativity because we should never look at negativity. No, I'm saying let's stay away from the negativity because I know the negativity for tonight isn't going to help you. But let me share this concept again with you. There are so many people who know that who they see of themselves in here is greater, better, stronger, wiser, sharper, faster than who they allow themselves to be out here in this natural world. And I have a problem with that. The reason I have a problem with that is very simple. I'll share with you. It's a very simple reason I've got a problem with that. I've got a problem with that because someone shared with me a number of years ago a number of principles that you can use, that I can use, that they were using at the time to take who you see of you in here and who you know you are in here and who you know you're supposed to be and make that person a reality. And not just a concept, not just a thought, not just an idea, not just an ideology, not just I think I'm destined for a bit more. I think I'm built for a bit more success. I think I'm supposed to have a little bit more. You see, that's part of the problem a lot of the time. The fact that we leave that level of depth in our thinking, in our I think, rather than take it out into the I am. You see, guys, there's so much more I can share with you. Ellie, I see you're deep in the chat as well. Guys, there's so much more about this I can share with you, but I just want to come back to that question because that question is what's going to set us on a good stead or a good setting, a good footing for tonight's show. Guys, let me ask you the question again. Have you given yourself, and listen guys, let me say this, full transparency, you don't have to answer in the chat. I don't want you to answer these questions in the chat. When I ask you those deep questions, you know what it is. I just want you to make sure you got your pencil. I just want you to make sure you've got your pen. I just want you to make sure you got your journal, your notepad, your iPad, your tablet. I just want you to make sure you're taking the notes. Many people, when we was on the show the other day, I asked who's watching on mobile. So many people said they're watching on mobile. So guys, even if it's on mobile, guys, I hope your phone is sophisticated enough to have split screen. So you're not just watching this, but you got your little notes up, whether it's your Google Keep or some other notebook on your phone, and you're taking down the value. So this is a question that's great to start your notes off for tonight. Have I given myself permission to be the person I see on the inside of me? Ask yourself that question. If you don't want to ask yourself that question whilst we're on the show right now because it might be a bit much for you, then you know what you need to do? Just write the question down. Write the question down so you can come back to it later. But listen, don't cheat yourself. Don't evade your success. Please make sure you come back to it later. You know, there are so many people who say, I'll do that tomorrow. I'll get round to it next week. I'll do that later on. You know what? I know I should be on day 13 with Samuel on the 21 days of property investing success. But you know what? I'll catch up. You're available now to be live with me now, but you're watching me on a replay. And my question is why? My question is why? Why are you allowing success to potentially evade you? What happens if I ask a question a specific certain way right now, which if you were live right now, like KTR is in the chat, like Eddie is in the chat, like the other people who are watching are in the chat. Let me ask this question. What would happen if you were live with us right now and you could answer right now where you are? And you would know that the answer to your question can be taken and utilized for us to push you even more forward. You see, there are so many people that allow success to evade them. There are so many people that allow success to cheat them. There are so many people that allow themselves to be robbed of success, which is rightfully theirs. Do you give yourself permission to be the person that you see inside of yourself? You need to ask yourself that question. At least once in your life, you need to ask yourself that question. And that's how we transition. We're still in the recap, guys. If you're getting value already, just write the word value in the chat. We are still in the recap. But this is how we transition out of the concept of metacognition, on day 2 into the concept on day 3 of vision. And guys, let me assure you, on day 3, we went in. We went into the tunnel. Okay, we went into the tunnel. And the great thing about day 3, if you go and watch that video, if you haven't seen our day 3 video, go watch the day 3 video. I said on day 3, my objective on the day 3 video was to give so much value, to give so much content, that if you decided to not join for the rest of the 21 days, I would be fine with that. Because I know if you use what I shared with you in day 3, you will change your own life. It's that simple. It is literally that simple. That's what we did on day 3. You see, I see your comment value, KTR, in the chat. Thank you ever so much. Guys, on day 3, we drove into the express tunnel. The express tunnel of change. The express tunnel that when you come out on the other side of that tunnel, something changed. Something has to change in your life. You engage with that day 3 video, trust me, something's going to snap on the inside. Something's going to break on the inside. Something's going to grow on the inside. Let me share this with you guys, because some people don't understand this. You see, a seed goes into the ground, okay? A seed goes into the ground, okay? This is to help you guys understand and envisage what I'm talking about. A seed goes into the ground. You see, when a seed goes into a ground, it's whole. When a seed goes into a ground, it has a formation. You know what a seed looks like, okay? We all know what a seed looks like, right? So when a seed goes into the ground, a seed looks like a seed. Let's just say it like that, okay? You know what a seed looks like. I know what a seed looks like. Do you want me to show you what a seed looks like? Let me ask that question, okay? Because if you want me to show you what a seed looks like, I can show you what a seed looks like in order for us to move forward even further in this. But guys, I just want you to understand what I'm talking about. A seed goes into the ground. Now, here's the powerful thing. When a seed goes into the ground, okay? When a seed goes into the ground, let me even use these words. These are strong words, but these are words that are going to help you, okay? Because some people, they don't like using strong words. They don't realize strong words can have a dynamic effect on your mind. I'm going to say that one more time. Strong words can have a dynamic effect on your mind. I'll say that one more time. Strong words can have a dynamic effect on your mind. Okay? And this is why sometimes when I do these shows, I actually use strong words. Okay? I use strong words, not foul words. Okay? That's a different terminology, but I use strong words. And the reason I use strong words is because I want to have a dramatic effect on your life. I want to help you change. Okay? I want to help you push forward. I want to help you move forward. I want to help you have things you haven't had before. And the only way I can help you have things you haven't had before is if I give you some strong words which maybe you haven't heard before. Or if I put you in a predicament with some strong words which maybe you haven't dealt with before. For example, I hope you understand what I'm talking about. So let's jump back in. Okay? Let's jump back in so you guys can get exactly what I'm talking about. So a seed. Okay, and like I said, we should all know what a seed looks like. Okay, a seed goes into the ground. Now, when a seed goes into the ground, what happens is that seed starts to receive nutrients. Okay, so when we're talking about nutrients, we're talking about the water. We're talking about the sun rays. We're talking about the nutrition that can be extracted by a seed from the water that is penetrating through means of rain. Or, you know, if you've got a plant in your house and you're watering that plant yourself or watering that flower, that seed yourself, then the water you provide, okay? But let's think about the natural elements, okay? So the water comes down, the rain comes down, and many people in the UK, you know, it's rainy season. It rains a lot in the UK, and many people in the UK don't like the rain. But check this out. The rain comes down, it penetrates the soil, and when it penetrates the soil, it affects the seed. It gives the seed moisture. It gives the seed a certain level of nutrients, okay? So the seed, check this out. I want you to understand these words, the verbiage I'm using to help you move forward. A seed penetrates the ground, okay? It breaks through the ground, okay, to get into its position. Then when it's penetrated the ground, the seed gets buried. I hope you understand what I'm talking about because we're going in now. You guys said I can be deep. Let's go. A seed penetrates the ground. When a seed has penetrated the ground, the next thing that happens is that the seed becomes buried. Okay, let me tell you something. There is no seed that has ever succeeded without first being buried. Okay, because right now, as you're tuning into this, you might feel buried financially. You might feel buried in your property journey. You might feel buried in your emotions. You might feel buried in your relationships. You might feel buried in your ability to negotiate, which is what we spoke about yesterday. The point I'm making is, although you may feel buried, you have to understand the process that a seed goes through. So a seed starts off as a seed. We all know what a seed looks like. A seed penetrates the ground. Now, it may penetrate the ground by accident, if you believe in that, or it may penetrate the ground because it's planted. So I may come along and plant a seed in the ground. Let's get a visual on this. I think it's going to be helpful for you guys. If you guys think a visual will be helpful, let me know. We got the visual up. Okay. Great to see your comments in the chat, guys. Those of you who haven't commented in the chat, feel free to comment in the chat. So you see, on this site we've got different stages of a seed. Okay. Seeds in the ground. Seed had to be penetrated into the ground, placed into the ground by the planter, by the husbandman, by the gardener. Okay. So the seed goes in the ground, is buried in the ground. Straight after the seed is planted in the ground, the seed now receives sustenance and nutrients through means of rain, sun rays, and all of the things it can extract from the soil. Okay, so I want you to understand there are three things feeding that seed right now. There's the soil and the nutrients that are embedded in the soil. There is the water, which is coming from the rain, and the nutrients that can be extracted from the water in the rain. And there's also the rays of sun and the nutrients that can be extracted from the rays of sun. Now, obviously, as human beings, we should already know the sun gives us certain nutrients such as vitamin D, etc., etc. So a seed is no different. And let me even retrospectively make this statement so you understand what I'm talking about. You are no different. So the same way a seed has to get penetrated into a position and then from there has to be buried, and then after that seed is buried, that seed then receives sustenance in a burial position. Okay, and like I said, you might feel buried right now, and this video, this live, this opportunity you have right now to be rocking with Samuel I Can Win on the 21 days of your property investing success may be the rain that you need. It may be the sun that you need. It may be the soil that you need. It may be the nutrients. It may be the value. It may be the sustenance that you need to shift your property investing success. I guarantee you, for many people who are watching this, this is what this is. I guarantee you, we might not be your rain, we might be your soil. We might not be your soil, we might be your sun. But I'm telling you something, for many people who are tuned in to these 21 days of your property investing success, this is nutrients and sustenance for you. You need this to grow. But let's keep going. You see, one of the things I want to share with you guys, because I want you to understand, you see, the rain has to penetrate the soil to hit the seed. I hope you hear where I'm coming from. The sun has to penetrate the soil to hit the seed. Even the soil, okay, has to penetrate itself. It has to get past itself to touch the seed. Now, why is this important? The reason this is important is because we are very similar. We're very similar in our makeup. As human beings, we're very similar. We may get into a particular predicament, particular position, particular place in our life. And it may feel uncomfortable, just like a seed who's just been penetrated into the ground. And you see, straight after that uncomfortability, what may happen is we may feel buried, we may feel claustrophobic, we may feel stuck. I'll use that word because a lot of my coaching clients, a lot of my students, you see, when people start their property journey, a lot of the time, the word that they might use is they feel stuck. Hey, Samuel, why do I feel so stuck? You know, I don't get why, you start off feeling stuck. You see, stuck is just the buried position of a seed after it's penetrated. Let me give you an example. I'm gonna make this real. Should I make this real? If you want me to make this real, write the word real in the chat, REAL, real. And what I'll do is I'll start making this real so you can start seeing how this might even relate to you. You might be watching this, you might be listening to me right now and thinking, you know what, Samuel's talking about a seed, Samuel's talking about the rain, Samuel's talking about the sun, Samuel's talking about the soil, and you might not understand that I'm talking about some stuff that is real. For people who are invested in property right now, for people who wish they would be able to invest in property, for people who want to invest in property, guys, what I'm talking about, I can make very real for you. So if you want me to make it real, just write the word real. So let's keep going. You see, what many people don't understand is that the rain has to penetrate the soil to get to the seed. You see, the things you need to help you have to break through the same barriers that you have been penetrated through in order to find your current position. What does that mean? What that means is when you hear a message that resonates with you, this is why I do the recap every single show without fail. This is why up to up to day 21 of our 21 days of your property investing success, I am going to recap every single day. Why am I going to recap every single day? I'm going to recap every single day for one reason, because there may be one person who tunes in on one day who needs to hear something that we shared on a previous day. And the moment I start recapping that and they start hearing that and it starts penetrating for them, they're going to say to themselves, you know what, that I needed to hear that. That's for me. You know what, I need to go back to that day. You know what, I need to change my life. You know what, this guy's got the keys for me. And guys, let me say this to you, because in all humility, I want you to understand this. This ain't about me. This is not about, oh, Samuel's got the answers for you. No, guys, listen, let me tell you something. I'm more gifted than I would like to believe. This is not about me, okay? This is more about a skill that I've been given, a resource that I have, and I know how to use it, so I use it. This ain't about me. This is about you. So let's come back to this idea. You see, the rain has to penetrate the soil in order to get to you. The sun has to penetrate the soil in order to impact you. The soil has to even penetrate through the soil in order to touch you. So the things that are waiting to give you sustenance, nutrients, value, have to break through the same barriers that you have broken through to get to you. Sometimes they have probably already broken through those barriers to get to you. You know, when a seed gets planted, there's going to be some vitamin D left in the soil from the sun already. There's going to be some moisture left from the rain already. There's going to be some elements of the soil that are already waiting to create a bed for the seed. And the reason I'm sharing all of this, because I want you to understand that we are exactly the same. We're exactly the same. So this is why I asked the question a moment ago, do you give yourself permission to be the person you see on the inside of you? Do you give yourself permission to receive the kind of rain that the person who you see on the inside of you actually receives? To give yourself the kind of sun that the person on the inside of you that you see actually receives? Are you ready to allow yourself to give yourself the same kind of soil that the person you see inside of you has to live with? And these rain, sun, and soil, they can be likened to things like opportunities. Do you allow yourself to engage with the kind of opportunities that the person who you see inside of you has to engage with in order to be that kind of person? Books, videos, messages. You see, all of these things might be your rain, might be your soil, might be your sun. People, connections, network, opportunities. Guys, I could go down a long list, but like I'm saying, all of these things may be the seeds, the soils, the rains, the suns that are necessary for you to be who you are supposed to be. But the question is, before we even get there, do you give yourself permission? Why am I asking, do you give yourself permission? For two reasons. One, because you giving yourself permission to be the person that you see on the inside of you is you planting yourself as a seed. That's you actually creating the first level of penetration, saying to yourself, I'm going to be who I see. You see, you allowing yourself, you giving yourself permission is you planting yourself as a seed. That's the first thing. I learned this a number of years ago, and I'm telling you, it changed my life. Have you allowed yourself to be planted? Have you actually planted yourself? Have you made yourself accountable to the truth of who you really are, of the success you really see inside of yourself? You see, you planting yourself is probably going to be one of the biggest and bravest things you've ever done in your life. But let's keep going. You see, the seed goes down, penetrates the ground, soil provides nutrients, sun provides sustenance, rain provides nutrients. And as the seed is in the ground, and guys, listen, let me just put this disclaimer out there. I'm not a scientist. I'm not a whatever you call it, a horticulturalist. Okay. So this is not necessarily the technicalities and the science behind this, but these are just the facts. Okay. So bear with me. So the seed is in the ground. Whilst the seed is in the ground, the nutrients, the sustenance breaks through, has to penetrate as well in order to get to the seed. Now you see the seed starts living its life with all of these things. And you know what happens? This is where change comes. The seed cracks. The seed proverbially dies. The seed has to become useless. The seed dies, the seed cracks. You see, the image we got on the screen here, you should be able to see exactly what I'm talking about. If you look right here, you should be able to see exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, you see the first image, the seed's whole. Second image, the seed is starting to crack. Third image, that seed has cracked and has started to release a root. You see, by the time you get to the fourth image, you see the roots are coming out and we now have what we call a sprout. The seed is now sprouting. You see, but what's happening to the seed, people don't think about this a lot of the time. When true growth starts occurring for a person, when roots start getting laid out for a person, when people start sprouting up and having what we call property investing success that you will see on the surface, that you will see on the landscape, that you will see on the ground, and you, hey, look at her. She's got 4 rent-to-rents in 2 months. Hey, look at him. He's just done his first buy, refurbish, refinance. Hey, look at them. They're doing HMOs now. Let me tell you something. When people see that stuff on the surface, what they don't understand is that 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe even all 21 of the kind of principles we are talking about on this journey are the kind of things these people have had to use. Now, some people are not using all of these principles. Some are just using a few. Some are just using 1 or 2. But I can guarantee you, if you start to use more of them, you'll start to get more success. That's why we call this 21 days of your property investing success. Now, what people don't realize about this image, and this is what I want to share with you guys, is you take a look at this picture right here. As you take a look at the image right here, what most people do not realize is that the more this seed is becoming a plant, is becoming a flower, is growing, the more the seed is being destroyed. I want you to understand exactly what I just shared there. You see, I don't know if you've ever heard that term, you have to get out of your own way. Okay, if you've heard that term, just write the word term in the chat. But this is the reality. For so many people, that's their problem. For so many people, their problem is they've spent so long being them that they haven't given themselves permission to be who they truly are. And the moment you don't give yourself permission to be who you truly are, who you see on the inside of you, is the moment you allow yourself to stay your barrier to your success. Rather than allow yourself to be like a seed who's getting beaten up, broken up to release the power, the roots, the potential, the sprouts, the flower, the pollen, the buds. Guys, I could go on and on and on. I could go on and on and on. But let me not. Let's just jump straight back into what we need to do, which is the rest of our recap. If you guys are getting value, hit that like button. Side by side with that, press subscribe if you're not subscribed to the channel already. And make sure if you do that, you decide to hit the bell notification so you can stay up to date every single time we go live. Guys, I hope you're getting value from what we're sharing already so far. So on day 3, we spoke about something very, very powerful, which was vision. We spoke about your vision, guys. We spoke about how you need a property investing success vision. You see, your vision, and this is why I just gave that example, your vision is the materialized view, the articulation of everything I just shared with you a moment ago. Your vision is the picture of who you see inside of you as it pertains to your property investing success. Now, guys, let me tell you something. You can have a vision for so many things. Look, we're nearly at an hour into the show, and I'm still recapping on day 3, and today's day 13. Guys, let me know if you're getting value on the show. So your vision is your articulation. It's your documentation of who you see inside of you as it pertains to your property investing success. That's what we covered on day 3. Day 3 was the one to watch. If you haven't seen any of these other days, go watch day 3 after this video. Then we jumped into day 4. We spoke about fear and faith. Okay, and I'm going to try and recap the rest quickly. I know you guys are probably getting a lot of value from this, but I want to try and keep it quick so we can stay on point and stay on focus for the other things we got to share on tonight's show. So day 4, we shifted into speaking about faith and fear. And I was talking about how so many people battle with fear when they have property opportunities. You got a great property opportunity right in front of you. You got a great chance to change your life, your family's life, your wealth through means of property. And you walk away. Why? Because you're afraid. So we spoke about that fear, and we also spoke about the faith that's needed to overcome that on day 4. Then day 5, we jumped into one of my good friends' personal development. On day 5, we started to talk about personal development and how personal development is essential to your growth. What we basically shared, the concept we shared, is personal development is your fastest vehicle to the success that you have written down in your vision. I'll say that again for those of you who are taking notes. Personal development is your fastest vehicle in order for you to achieve the success that you are trying to achieve, or the success that you have articulated inside of your vision. Okay, I'll say it one more time for those of you who really want to hear it. Personal development is your fastest vehicle. It's the fastest route to get you to the success that you are working towards. That's personal development. So we spoke about that on day 5. Then day 6, we jumped into another one of my good friends. We spoke about momentum. We spoke about how if you've got all of the building blocks in place, the next thing you need to do is turn the volume up by adding momentum. Then we shifted into day 6. And on day 6, day 6 was momentum. Then we shifted into day 7, apologies. And on day 7, we started to speak about the concept of commitment. We said, commitment is the final piece of a foundation when it pertains to property investing success. If you take all of the things we spoke about, knowing what you want, metacognition, thinking about your thinking, shifting that into developing a vision, then learning how to manage your faith and fear, then on top of that, learning how to use personal development to your advantage, then turning all of that up with momentum, the only thing you need next is commitment to seal the deal. You need commitment to make sure that you make it happen every single day. You need commitment to make sure that you start to leverage opportunities and you go for it rather than walk away from it. That was day 7. Then we started to group the days. We started to do double days. We did day 8 and day 9 speaking about mindset, the mindset of a successful property investor. On day 8, we spoke about how to protect your mindset. On day 9, we spoke about how to prepare your mindset. On day 10, we shifted into marketing. And I said to you guys, from day 8 onwards, we're going to get very practical. So on day 10, we spoke about marketing. We spoke about how marketing is important, how you need to utilize marketing in order to win in your property investing journey. Then straight after speaking about marketing, we then went on from day 9 and 10 to days 11. No, from day 10 and 11, speaking about marketing, into yesterday, day 12. Now, day 12, we started talking about a concept which I call managing. For those of you who have got the sourcing blueprint, the infographic that I created a few years back, I break down all property, find the activity of finding great property deals, property sourcing. I break it all down into a 4-step concept called the sourcing blueprint. If you do not have that blueprint, you can go to the website sourcingblueprint.com and go and get that now. It's absolutely free. Just press Control T, Command T, whether you're on Mac or whatever, open a new tab and just type in sourcingblueprint.com. Okay? And you can go and get your free sourcing blueprint. It's a really short ebook which breaks down how to find great property deals in a simple step process. So the second stage after marketing is actually managing of relationships. So yesterday we spoke about negotiation. Yesterday we had a fabulous session. The session yesterday was so fantastic, so powerful. I had a number of people message me after yesterday's session alone, telling me that they really got value. as we spoke about negotiation. You know why? Because there are not many people, I say this all the time, there are not many people in the property space who actually talk about negotiation. And I think because a lot of them don't know what they're doing as it pertains to negotiation. Let me know in the chat, guys. If you're watching live, let me know in the chat. Why do you think so few people in the property space talk about negotiation? If you are watching this, on a replay, let me know in the comments. Why do you think so few property people speak about negotiation? Thank you. So we spoke about negotiation on day 12. So today is part 2 of us speaking about relationship management. And what we're going to share on today's session is what I call negotiation no-nos. Negotiation no-nos. So let me start by opening it up to you guys who are with us live. Let me know in the chat, what do you think are some no-nos of negotiation? Okay, what do you think are some no-nos of negotiation? Now, by no-nos of negotiation, I mean, what do you think are some of the things you just never should do if you are negotiating? Okay, I'm opening it up to you guys. I want you guys to let me know what you guys think before I start to share with you some of the no-nos of negotiation. I'll share with you probably 2 because of the time, but I'll share them in depth so you guys get some real context and value, okay? So what do you think are some of the no-nos of negotiation? Okay, let me know in the chat. Let me see what you guys think. I'm interested in seeing how you guys perceive negotiation and how it should be done. What do you guys think are some of the things you should never do when you're negotiating with someone? Okay, what are some of the no-nos of negotiation? Okay, let's see what happens in the chat as we push forward. So the question is, what are some of the no-nos of negotiation? Let's see what's happening in the chat. See if you guys are sharing with us there. Guys, I said this on yesterday's show. I'm going to say it again. If you are watching on YouTube, feel free to comment on YouTube. I don't see why every single time I go live on the 21 days of your property investing success, my phone is just blowing up next to me. Okay? I don't get it. Alright guys, like I've said already, if you haven't already, hit the like button. Let the YouTube world know that this is some value to you. Side by side with that, if you haven't hit subscribe. Become part of our community and be notified every single time we go live or every single time we drop a video, giving you guys value by pressing that bell notification. That will help you also. All right, so KTR's put a comment in here. KTR says, one of the no-nos of negotiation are accepting something that doesn't work for the deal. I think that's a great one. Let me add another one to that. Accepting something that doesn't work for the other party. You see, most people, when they go into negotiation, only think about themselves. Big mistake. The reason why you should never only think about yourself when you go into negotiation is because of a very simple problem. The fact that after you negotiate with that person becomes your first or your next recommendation for whichever negotiation you go on to do next. And if you only think about yourself, you don't think about them coming out of the scenario happier, them coming out of the scenario wholer, them coming out of the scenario better, the problem then is now the person is now going to go around with a negative view of how you negotiated with them or how you got what you wanted. And this is something that is crucial. You really need to think about. So KTR, thank you for that comment. I think it's really powerful. But also, like I said, add on the second part that I've just shared with you as well. That will be extremely helpful. Don't just think I can't accept what doesn't work for me. Also think I can't allow this person to accept, or I can't accept this person agreeing with what I know doesn't work for them. So KTR, again, thank you for that powerful comment. All right, so we got also Kimwin in the chat. Thank you, sir, for joining us. This is another powerful one. So also Kimwin says in the chat, don't be intimidated. One of the no-nos of negotiation is to not be intimidated by the size, and I will add on that, I assume that the comment is by the size of your opponent or by the size of the person you're negotiating with. And I think, again, powerful. I think that's extremely powerful. I see that all the time. I think for me, that really strongly connects with our idea that we spoke about on day 4. And guys, listen, if you've got more, if you're watching, if you've got more, write them down. What do you think are some of the no-nos of negotiation? And let me tell you this, there are no wrong answers. Okay, there are just your answers. We're not here in a judgmental space to judge you. Okay, we're here to help you move forward in terms of your property investing success. So again, if you're watching on a replay, feel free to let us know in the comments, what do you think are some of the no-nos of negotiation? If you're here live and you haven't commented already, be sure to comment, say hi, say something. If you're brand new, if you've never been on one of these 21 days of your property investing success videos live before, just write hi. If you're brand new, you can write the word new. We all know in our environment, we know what the word new means. The word new means you're watching the show for the first time, all right? And we love seeing people that are new. It's always a great thing. So don't be shy. Just let us know if you're new by writing the word new in the chat. Now, if you're someone who's watched before, let us know. Engage. You know what I say it all the time. Engagement is the name of the game. If you do not engage with this process, if you're not writing your answers in, if you're not commenting, then you're not going to get as much value out. You see, when KTR throws her comment in and I give her some feedback, she's now taken her ability to negotiation up a notch. Okay? So the way that we get better at what we do is by sharing what we do, and then people can add on the hot sauce. Hopefully that makes sense. So like I was saying, I like this one a lot. Do not be intimidated by the size of the person you're negotiating with. Now let me break some things down here, which I think are extremely important. Day 4. We spoke about faith and fear. And I'm going to share this with you guys. I see this again and again and again. Okay? I come across people. I'm going to share this on a surface level. And then after I share this on a surface level, I'm then going to take this to a more practical level. So on the surface level, okay? Previously, when I used to host my networking event in Canary Wharf, okay, we'd have over 100 people attend the meeting probably every single month. Roughly around 100 people would attend each month. And we were doing this meeting for about 3.5 years, okay? So people would come, they want to network with other property investors, they want to find builders, they want to find investors, they want to find money, they want to find deals, etc., etc., etc. They'd come and they'd congregate, you know, in this meeting. We'd have this meeting for a number of hours, 6 to 9 p.m., okay, on a Thursday night. Now, one of the things that used to get me was this. I would meet people each in between the month. So we would have these meetings monthly. I would meet people in between the month, okay? And these might be people I'm meeting new. These might be people I already know, etc. But they'll say stuff to me like, oh, I've told my friend about your meeting because I know your meeting's really powerful. It's resourceful. You get to meet some great people. You invite some great speakers, all of these things. So people will tell me this. They tell me, Samuel, I've invited friends. I've invited people down. They're going to come. You need to, you know, this guy needs what you're doing over there. All right. This is so funny, but let me share it with you. So I'd always say this same statement. And if you've ever met me and you've ever told me that you've invited someone to one of my networking events, you will know what I'm about to say. Because I say this to everybody. I say this to everybody. And I don't say this to everybody because it's a gimmick. I say this to everybody because genuinely I want everybody to do this. So I usually say to the person this. I say, look, it's great you've invited someone. Tell the person you've invited to make sure they come and see me and personally say hello at the end of the meeting or during the break, at any point during the meeting. Okay? Personally come and say hello. All right? I listen, like I said, if you have ever told me before that you've invited someone to one of my networking events and I knew I was going to be there, I close to 100% guarantee I would have said to you, that's great. Thanks for letting me know. Make sure you tell your guest to come and see me at some point throughout the night and say hello. Always. I'd always say that. Okay? And you know the funniest thing? So many times people would not come and say hello. Now, I'm not saying people wouldn't come and say hello. What I mean is obviously the majority of people that would come and say hello or come and speak to me at the end of the event or in the middle of the event would be people that I already know. People that already know Samuel's going to give me some extra value. I want to go and, get a little 10, 15-minute conversation with Samuel at the end. I want to go and ask Samuel about a project I'm looking at now. I want to go and talk to Samuel about a dilemma I'm facing now. You see, people would come and approach me at the end who had overcome the fear, okay, of engaging with me. Rather than operating, and again, this is why day 4 was so powerful for this, rather than operating in the faith that is necessary for them to move forward. Let me say this. Don't be intimidated by the size of who you're negotiating with. David killed Goliath. If you're a Bible reader, if you're interested in the Bible, if you believe in that stuff, it says David, in the Bible, it says David killed Goliath with but one mere stone. Okay? Now this isn't a stone, but this is a small object. It's a lid. Okay? It's not a stone, but you understand. You see, a stone isn't going to be much bigger than this. Yes, it might have been a big stone. It might have been a stone the size of one of my cameras. It might have been a big stone. But listen, let me tell you something. Even if it was a big stone, the Bible says that David killed Goliath, even if it's a stone this big. Who knows? You see, a stone is going to be somewhere in between here. We're talking about from here to maybe here. But the reality, guys, I hope you see where I'm coming from with this, is that the Bible says David slew a giant. David killed Goliath with just a stone. Yeah, there was a sling, but it was the stone. It was the stone that made the impact. So I hope you guys understand what I'm trying to share with you right here. This is why I so 100% concur with Ose Kimwin's comment here about slaying in negotiation, about winning in negotiation, about showing up for negotiation. The simple fact that if David kills Goliath with a stone, do you know that you don't have to be as big in size, in stature, in finances to negotiate with somebody else? You don't have to have 7.9 million pounds in the bank because you're dealing with an organization which is a 10 million pound or $10 million or 10 million yen euro organization. You see, guys, there are definitely no-nos of negotiation. There are definitely no-nos of negotiation. Let me give you my first no-no of negotiation. This is going to help a lot of people. My first no-no of negotiation is never negotiate when you've already lost the negotiation. Okay, you should write that down. If you're taking notes, you got your pens, you got your iPads, you got your pencils, you got your utilities, your utensils, write that down. We got Gavin in the chat. Great to have you, Gavin, who's joining us. Guys, I'm going to say it again. First no-no of negotiation. All right? The first no-no of negotiation. Gavin, let me say this. If you just tuned in, tonight's been on fire. Okay? Guys, let me know. Let Gavin know in the chat if tonight has been on fire for you. If it has, just put a little fire emoji or just write the word value, something like that. So Gavin knows. So Gavin, I know you like this content. So I'm saying this just so you know, if you just joined in, this is one to go back on. It's one to go back on and get the rest of the content that we've shared already. So let's keep going anyway. The no-nos of negotiation, okay? The first no-no I'm going to share with you guys is never negotiate when you've already lost the negotiation, okay? Now, for some of you who are writing notes, you're going to write that down. And as you write that down, your mind is going to say to you, I would never do that. Your mind's going to say, I would never go into negotiation when I know I've already lost. Okay, most of you, when you start writing that, that's what you're going to think. Then before the time you get to the end of writing that down, for those of you who are taking notes, for those of you who are not note takers, I can't help you. I don't know what you're thinking. But I know what people who take notes are thinking. Why? Because I take notes all of the time. By the time you get to the end of writing that note, you're probably going to start to see an example or think of an example where you've done that. Okay, because people do it all the time. Thank you, KTR, for your fire in the chat. People do it all the time. Guys, I'm going to say that one more time because I want you to understand that people do it all the time. People go into negotiations that they have already lost all the time. I'll give you an example. is there a point? Okay, is there a, let me not even give you the example now. Let me give you a tip before I give you an example. Okay, a coach I used to have used to say something really weird, but it was helpful. He used to say, Samuel, negotiate everywhere you go. It doesn't matter if you're going into an environment with a fixed price, just negotiate. I'll say that again. Samuel, Gavin, Ketty, Osa, guys, it doesn't matter who you are, negotiate everywhere you go. Let me say this, if you want to get better at negotiation quickly, that's a great way to do that. I said to you guys, I'll give you the tip. That's a great tip. If you want to get better at negotiation quickly, negotiate everywhere you go. When you next go and buy socks from a shop where every single person buying socks is paying the $4.99, the $49.99, whatever the socks cost, negotiate. Excuse me, do you know if there is a way that I'd be able to pay £43 for these socks rather than the $45.99? Because I've been having a fantastic day and I've just got a feeling that you're going to make my day even better. You see, guys, I'm going to say it again. Listen. Do not go into negotiations where you know you have already lost. That is the worst thing to do for any property investor. Why is it the worst thing to do for any property investor or even person? I'm going to start breaking this down. One of the reasons it's one of the worst things to do is because it creates, and I spoke about this on one of the previous sessions, but I'm going to talk about this again in this context. It creates in your subconscious mind, okay, the mentality, the thought process that you're going to lose. It creates in your subconscious mind the mentality, the thought process that you're going to lose next time. It creates in your mind the thought process that in your subconscious mind that you're a loser. Okay, now I don't want to say that because I don't like saying stuff like that to people or around people. But guys, I'm just telling you the reality. This is the reality. You see, if you go into negotiations like most people do on a regular basis where you already know you've lost, I can guarantee you that you are building up in your brain a catalog of losses when it comes to you and negotiation. And before you know it, there will be no negotiation you can go in and win. It will just be close to impossible to be able to win in a negotiation. Because of the simple fact that every time you go into a negotiation, you now set yourself up to lose. Okay? Because it starts from that position of you choosing to go into negotiations where you know you already lost. After you do that 2 or 3 times, your brain starts telling you you're going to lose anyway. And then you might go into a negotiation where you're actually supposed to win. It's like it would have been given to you. Like, okay, let me tell you this because I want you guys to really get what I'm talking about. I want you to really extract all of the value from this concept, all right? Do you know there are people that talk other people out of a deal? Okay, so you show up, okay, person A, and person A says to person B, I'm very much interested in this property. I'd love to buy it from you. How do you feel about me buying it for £500,000? And person B, the seller, says, £500,000 is an interesting price, but I actually was thinking of selling this property for £600,000. Now, person A starts to just ramble. £600,000, that's way too much. You'll never get that amount of money. Why would you think someone would pay that? There's other properties on the road that I've sold for $530,000. $500,000 is a good price. I could possibly come up a little bit, but you know what the reality is? You're never going to get 600. Now listen, I'm just being transparent with you guys. You know, there was a whole better thing that person A could have done than start rambling and start talking. Person A could have just said, why do you think £600,000 is a fair price for your property today? And person B might say, well, I'm not thinking of today. I wasn't really thinking of selling it today. I was thinking more so of selling it in like 12 years, 4 years, 15 years, 5 years, 7 years. The point I'm making to you guys that I want you to start to see is that when someone recants to your suggestion, your approach in negotiation, a big no-no is to start speaking as though you know the the context, the justification, the thought process, the rationale behind what they've shared with you. You see, sometimes when someone says something to you, you need to just ask the question that children are awesome at asking, and that question is why. Now, there's millions of billions of ways to ask the question why, but a lot of the time, that's all we've got to do. We just got to ask the question why. Why'd you say that? Why'd you think that? What's your thought process behind that? Could you explain to me how you got to that number? That's another way of saying why. One of the biggest negotiation no-nos, guys, is going into negotiation where you already know you've lost. Okay, I want you to understand this because, like I said, I've seen this again and again and again. The people that I encourage to come and say hi to me at the end of the networking events that I used to run. You see, a lot of the time, they don't come and say hi, like I spoke about earlier, because they're dealing with fears. Like also Kim said in the chat, because they're intimidated maybe by size. Oh, look, there's 15 people trying to speak to Samuel at the end. You know, I don't want to be the 16th person, or it will take me too long to get to speak to him, or all of this stuff. Or look, you know, so many people want to talk to him. Am I worthy of talking to him? Listen, guys, a human being's a human being. Can we try and remember that? Yes, another human being may have some resources, some insight, some knowledge, some experience, some opportunities, some value that you do not have, but you're not going to get it by not taking the opportunity to engage it. That's one thing you've got to understand. And I'm not saying engage it necessarily with me. You might engage it with someone else, but you're not going to get it without taking the opportunity to engage it. And this is the reason why when I negotiate for property, I will go into that negotiation knowing I'm going to win. I know I'm going to win. Okay, and let me tell you one of the ways I know I'm going to win whenever I go into a negotiation. One of the ways I know I'm going to win whenever I go into negotiation is because of my criteria of success. You see, let me put it this way. If you say to yourself, winning a negotiation is you walking out of that negotiation with X, Y, and Z, the problem with that, okay, the problem with that is the fact that you have a one-sided view of success. You have a one-sided view of what negotiation is. So there's a problem there. Because how can you succeed based on what you achieve only? And I've shared this so many times on this journey of the 21 days of your property investing success. Guys, life is not just about you. Life is about us. We're a community. We're human beings. We are a network. So if I want to win, part of my success criteria to win in a negotiation is making sure that it is a win for the other person I'm also negotiating with. And this comes back to what KTR was talking about earlier in terms of her idea of a negotiation no. She said accepting something that doesn't work for the deal. And I added on to that, well, you should also make sure you don't allow the person you're negotiating with or yourself allow them to accept something that doesn't work for them as well. Okay, I'll give an example, simple example. Okay, someone tells me, oh, they want to sell their house. Okay, person wants to sell their house. How much you want to sell the house for? Want to sell the house for 300,000. Okay, 300,000 is a reasonable price. But listen to me, 300,000, although it's a reasonable price, it's actually at the top of the market price for properties in this area. So let's do something, okay? Let me share with you that I'm happy to buy your property for 300,000. But from now until the next 4 or 5 years, I will have the ability to choose when I actually execute and purchase your house for 300,000. Now, in order to make this make sense for you, one of the things I'm going to do is I'm actually going to pay you every single month, okay, for that ability, for that right, for the opportunity to choose between now and in the next 5 years when I actually buy your house for the 300,000. How does that sound? And the person says back to me, you know what, that sounds interesting. Tell me more. How much are you going to pay me every month? Okay. Now, if I say to the person, look, I'm going to pay you £74 every month. Okay. And they say to me, well, I've got a mortgage and the mortgage on the property is £285 a month. You see, me pushing for this whole £74 a month, £74 a month, £74 a month, £74 a month. You see, the problem with that, you know, I'm pushing for something which doesn't work for the other person. Why should the other person now have to come out of pocket and pay every single month for a mortgage that's a liability because of that asset, because of that property? Because I want to be able to go around and say, guys, look at the deal I got. I only pay £74 a month for a deal where the owner's paying 200 and something pounds a month for the mortgage. Guys, it doesn't make sense. You have allowed that person to lose in order for you to win. And that is not successful negotiation. Guys, I hope you're getting value from the stuff that we're sharing here, because look, let me tell you something. Negotiation is not just about property. Yes, you are engaging with day 13 of your 21 days of property investing success. But guys, I want to remind you that you have to understand that these success principles can be used in any area of your life, and negotiation is crucial. I go back to my previous point. If you want to, if you sincerely and genuinely want to be successful at negotiation, you want to increase your ability to negotiate speedily. One of the best ways to do it is negotiate everywhere you go, whether it's a fixed price environment, whether it's a haggle and bargain environment, whether it's a barter environment. Negotiate everywhere you go. Shout out to Iola in the chat, who says, excellent presentation, Samuel. Thank you ever so much, Iola. We appreciate you. Great to have you on the stream. Iola, is this your first time being with us in the 21 days of your property investing success? If the answer is yes, let us know in the chat. And if the answer is no, let us know in the chat. Great to have you on. So guys, listen, we're talking about negotiation. It's day 13. We're talking about negotiating, and we're talking about the negotiation no-nos. We've already got some of the views of some of the viewers in the live chat. And those of you who are just joining us, feel free to scroll up into the live chat. You can see KTR and also Kimwin's comments on what they felt were negotiation no-nos. For those of you who are just joining us now, this is one of those videos you need to go back and watch from the beginning on another day, or maybe later today, because we've already extrapolated a lot of value on the show so far. Now, for those of you who are watching right now live with me, if you have more negotiation no-nos that come to your mind, feel free to drop them in the live chat, and I will look forward to be able to share these with other people on the stream. I should be going that way, excuse me, with other people on the stream. I'm going to be happy to share my views on them, but also share them with other people on the stream. If you are watching this on a replay, what I want you to do is let us know in the comments what you think are some negotiation no-nos. Now, I said I was going to give you guys two. I've given you one. Let me recap the one I gave you a moment ago, and I gave it in some expansive form. I gave you guys an example. I broke it down in a few different ways. Now, the example, the no-no, the negotiation no-no I started with is do not go into negotiations where you already know you have lost. Just don't do it. Just don't do it. And let me give you some examples of what I mean when I say you already know you've lost. Where you are sitting at home, where you are sitting at the office, before you've even gone to the negotiation discussion, before you've even picked up the phone, you already feel like you're intimidated. You already feel like this isn't going to work. You already feel like you're discombobulated. Let me even give you some more, because this will help other people as well. When you know you haven't done the due diligence to even know the number to offer, but you're still phoning someone up. You see, stuff like that is entering a negotiation where you know you're already lost. Because let me tell you something, the people that do the most research, or the people that have access to the most information, are the people that have the best opportunity to win. I'll say that again. The people that have access to the best information are the people that have the best opportunity to win. That is the fact every single time as it pertains to property. If you've been investing in property for a period of time, you will know exactly what I mean when I say that. The people who have the best information are the people in the best predicament to win when it comes to negotiation. Let me give you an example. Okay, here's an example. I know a gentleman who was buying a house up north, okay, nowhere near London, up north, okay. So this house was probably around £85,000. It was that kind of ballpark figure at the time. The guy's buying a house up north. The house he's buying is one of those houses which is terraced. So on one side, there's another property touching it directly, and then on the other side, there's another property touching it directly, but there's like an arch in between those properties. And that arch is a walkway where you can access the garden, okay? So you can access both gardens by walking down the walkway of the arch, okay? So a guy's buying a property. It's a row of terraced houses. He's buying the house in the middle. On one side, the property is touching his property fully. On the other side, the property's touching his property kind of half, because there's an arch, okay, where you can walk through like a little alley, and then you've got the two gardens at the end. Now, where the arch is, there is a crack, okay? In the brickwork, in the cement, there's a crack, okay? Exactly where the arch is, there's a crack. Now, here's the interesting thing. On top of the arch is not shared. It's not 50% house A and 50% house B. On top of the arch is fully the bedroom. So that bedroom, that house was one of the larger houses on the street because it took advantage of the archway that connects the two houses. Okay, I hope this makes sense. If this makes sense, just write the word sense in the chat, okay? Because for those of you who are kind of early in your property, you might not understand what I'm talking about. For those of you who have been doing property for a while, you'll probably know what I'm talking about a bit more, okay? So that's the predicament, okay? Now, whilst that's the predicament, the guy's buying the house. He speaks to the seller about the house, okay? Apologies, guys. I'm taking a moment because I'm thinking, let me try and see if I can get a picture for you. Let's see if we can get a picture that will help. So as he's basically going through the process of buying this house, he speaks to the seller about the property. They negotiate a price. Now, let's say, for example, the price they negotiated was like 95,000. Okay, so they negotiate this price 95,000. So now, when this guy's viewing the property, okay, he says to himself, "Hold on a minute. There's a crack on this specific piece of the property, and because there's a crack on the specific piece of the property, he wants to make sure that that's not going to have an effect on his ability to buy the house, on his ability to sell the house, etc., etc., etc." All right, this is a image. Hopefully this one, we'll get this one up for you guys. If it's possible. The joys of technology, guys. Okay, this one is showing. All right, cool. So I'll use this to show you guys, just so you guys get the full context. Let's see if this is gonna work. Yes, this is brilliant. Okay, so let's get this up for you guys to see. There you go. Okay, it'd be awesome if I could zoom in. Unfortunately, I can't right now, but it's all good. All right, so let's put this on for you guys to see. So as you guys should be able to see here, there's a picture of the property. For those of you who are on mobile, hopefully this is big enough as well. If you're on mobile, just let me know if you need me to increase the size or anything like that. So basically, perfect. All right, so basically the house is just like this, okay? You got the front door. Right next to the front door, you've got an alley, basically. Now this alley gives you access to the gardens, and there's a crack, okay, on the top of the alley, on the top of the brickwork in the alley. So the investor sees this, and the investor says to himself, is this going to create a problem when he basically goes to buy the property, etc., etc.? So what he does is he goes and pays his own money, okay, and gets someone he knows, a contact who's a surveyor, and says, come and look at this crack. Tell me what you think is going to happen with this crack. And his friend, who's a surveyor, his contact, comes out, looks at the property, and says to himself, and says to him, he says, you know what, this isn't going to be a problem. Okay, this isn't going to be a problem because this is basically caused by just moving in the floor over the years, because it's just normal. Basically, it's normal. It's nothing to worry about. This is what his friend says to him. Straight after his contact says that to him, he then says, okay, I'm going to proceed with the sale, goes and speaks to his mortgage lender. Now, remember, we are saying that they've roughly decided to pay £95,000. That's the current agreed price on the property. Now, his contact has also said to him, these are the ways you can remediate this issue. You can remediate this issue by paying X amount and doing A. Let's just call it that. I don't want to go into the intricacies because I'm not a builder. Now, what the guy basically does is he goes to his mortgage lender. He says he wants to buy the house. He tells them it's £95,000. They send out their surveyor like they usually do. When they send out their surveyor looks at the house and picks up on the crack in between the archway, because of the fact that that crack is directly part of the house the guy I know is about to buy. And in the report that he provides to the lender, he says to the lender, there is actually structural damage, which will cost X amount in order to remediate. Okay. Now the X amount he said was above £10,000. Okay. But the remedial work that was recommended to the person I know by his contact was less than £2,000. I want you to understand this. Okay. Now remember what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about how negotiation is best done by the people who have the best information. Now, my contact now has two sets of information. He has information from his own personal contact who he reached out to and paid some money to view the property and to basically give him a heads up on the crack in the archway. And he now has the information that's come in from the lender. So he says to himself, you know what? His friend might be wrong. His contact might be wrong. So he now goes and pays another independent surveyor. This new independent surveyor says the exact same thing as his contact, which you came to view first. This is going to cost you less than £2,000 to remediate. Okay. So now what this guy does is he goes back to the seller and says to the seller, look, I've applied for a mortgage in order to purchase the property. The mortgage lender has come back and shared with us that due to this crack being structural, they believe we would have to repair it and it would cost roughly X amount in the region of 10 to something thousand pounds. Now, I'm still happy to buy this property. However, if I do buy the property, I'm going to need to be remunerated for the work I'm going to have to do, or you can get the work done yourself. Now, this person selling was not in the business of taking time with the sell in order to get the work done. So what did they say? They said, I will knock the price that the lender has said it will cost, the valuation price, the rough estimate they've given, off of the price of the house. The price of the property went from £95,000 roughly to £85,000 roughly because somebody had better information than somebody else. Now, let me keep going on with this and I'll share something else with you that's quite interesting about this. Another point that's extremely interesting about this is the simple fact that this is more than a 10% discount on a property, okay, because of one piece of information. This is not structural damage that's going to create a problem. I've had two people I trust look at it and tell me, but the lender stipulates that it is. So to satisfy the lender, I'll utilize that for my negotiation. The price dropped by more than 10%. You see, this is a negotiation where the guy's going in knowing he's going to win. Okay? Knowing that, you know what, if I can use this to get £10,000 off of this purchase price, that's going to help my return on investment. That's going to be a win for me. Guys, this is the stuff I want you to understand. Information is crucial when you go into the negotiation. So going back to the point I was making, how I even got into this example, a person who hasn't done their due diligence, a person who hasn't gone and got two surveyors to look at a project besides the actual surveyor from the lender, a person who hasn't adequately prepared themselves to win is putting themselves in the worst position to negotiate and proverbially are going into the negotiation having already lost. And this is what I don't want you to do. So my first negotiation no-no is do not enter into any negotiation where you know you have already lost. Okay? Here's my second negotiation no-no. It's a little bit of a different one, but I think you guys need to hear this. My second negotiation no-no, and this happens all the time. This is something I talk about in my masterclasses because this is like a pet peeve. Maybe that's why I want to actually share it with you guys. I don't want you guys losing, so this is why I'm sharing it. All right? If you guys are going to use day 13 in order to go into your property investing journeys, whether you're a beginner, whether you're more advanced, and win, what you need to understand is how to not do exactly what I'm about to talk about. So let's jump into this. Before I share that, guys, as I've said already, if you haven't hit the like button, hit the like button if you're getting value. Side by side with that, hit subscribe if you're not already subscribed to our channel, and be sure to hit the bell so you can stay up to date every single time we go live. All right. My second negotiation no-no is never allow someone who cannot negotiate as well as you to negotiate for you. Okay, if you're taking notes, you need to write that down. Okay, never, not sometimes, not guys, listen, I'm gonna say this again. I don't like using words as strong as never and always, but guys, you know, I think if you really want to win, if you want to take what I'm sharing with you guys and win, then you need to make this a never. Okay, never allow somebody to negotiate for you or on your behalf who cannot negotiate as good as you. Just don't do it. Just don't do it. Like, think of it like this. If you already believe that a negotiation is going to be a challenge, why would you allow someone who cannot negotiate as well as you to actually take that challenge on for you? Okay. Now, some of you might be listening to this and thinking, I wouldn't do that. Just like the last example I gave. And this is why these are my negotiation no-nos, because I'm giving you the no-nos that you're probably doing on a regular basis in your property journey and thinking you're not doing. Okay? And this is why these are deep, and this is why these are important. So let's go into this one. Most people do this with every property transaction they buy or sell, and the way they do it is by technically using an estate agent. Okay? So I want you to understand what I'm talking about. You see, most people, when they go into an estate agency, they are not asking for the best negotiator in the estate agency. They don't do what I call trial negotiation with the estate agent to check if the estate agent's actually a better negotiator than them before they allow that negotiator to actually represent them in a sale. If someone's getting value from what I just shared, you need to write the word value in the chat. Okay? Because this is not a joke. This is real talk. I know so many people coaching clients. I know students of ours, okay, who go out there, work with agents and believe because the agent is bringing them 5 deals a week, 10 deals a week, they just proverbially believe straight away that the agent has a better ability to negotiate. Let me say this to you. Most estate agencies have systems in place. A business is a structure. A business is a set of processes. It's a structured set of processes. So most estate agency businesses have a set of processes in place. Those processes allow them to receive leads, okay, to receive sellers, to receive landlords, etc., etc. They might have marketing campaigns in place on a regular basis. So as a direct byproduct, they have 20, 30, 100 landlords reaching out to them every single month that they then convert into opportunities, etc., etc. That doesn't mean they're better than you at negotiation. That doesn't even mean they know how to negotiate. Okay? Now let me say this as well, because I don't want to generalize and I don't want people to miscommunicate what I'm saying as well. There are people, estate agents specifically, okay, and I know this because I used to be an estate agent. There are estate agents who are brand new to estate agency. They just started last week, but they are better negotiators than their managers in the branch who have been doing this for 28, 30 years, okay? And equally, the other way around as well. There are people who are branch managers who are the best negotiators in the branch, and the people who have just started, they've got no negotiation skill whatsoever. So the reason I'm sharing this, because like I said, I don't want to generalize. I don't want you guys watching this to think that, oh, Samuel's saying all estate agents can't negotiate. No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is negotiation should take place anytime on your behalf by the best negotiator that you know. Okay? And a lot of the time, if you're the kind of person who's watching this, a lot of the time, the best negotiator that you know could be you. It could actually be you. You could be the person who knows better than anyone else how important that opportunity is to you. You could be the person who knows better than anyone else how importantly your standards, your values, your ethics are, so that you're not in this just to cheat someone else out. You're actually in this to make a win-win solution and scenario. Nobody knows that better than you a lot of the time. You see, now this is not my rant to say don't work with estate agents, but this is my second negotiation no-no. I just want you to have it. I want you to have that in your journal, in your notes, in your notepads, in your iPads, in your tablets, whatever you're using to take notes. I want you to have this inside there. Negotiation no-no number 2. Okay? Do not allow somebody to negotiate on your behalf who is not as good a negotiator as you are. You see, it's like playing chess. Whenever you play a piece, You want your strongest piece to be played. You want your strongest move to be played every single time. And in order for you to make your strongest move in a negotiation as it pertains to property investing, you have to have your best negotiator represent you at all times. Okay, and I'll give you an example. That might mean, if you're a woman and you're married, that might mean your husband negotiates the deal because he's a better negotiator. If you're a husband and you're married, that might mean your wife negotiates the deal because you know she's a better negotiator. Listen, guys, I'm going to say this. Some of you aren't going to like it, but I want to be really transparent with what I'm talking about and how important this is. That might mean your daughter or your son negotiates the deal because you know they're a better negotiator than you. Convey to them the terms, be clear to them about what you're attempting to achieve, be clear to them about what's on the line, but let them negotiate. Because if they're a better negotiator, if they're a better negotiator, they should be negotiating on your behalf. So many people lose because of how keen they are to negotiate. So many people lose because of how keen they are to continue the status quo, i.e. the estate agent's supposed to negotiate it, aren't they? Well, why are they? If they're not going to do as good a job as yourself, then you should negotiate for yourself. Guys, I hope you're getting value on tonight's stream. We're going to open it right up now for questions. We've been going for quite a while. We need to hit the 2-hour mark. But this is what we do, guys. You know what it is. So it's open up for questions right now, guys. Let us know in the chat what your questions are. Negotiation no-nos. What are your questions about negotiation and about the not to do's as it pertains to negotiation? Now, whilst you guys are getting your fingers ready and you are writing out your questions for us around negotiation, and then guys, let me even make it even a bit broader. If you've got any questions around what we've been sharing on the last 12 plus today, the 13 days so far of your property investing success 21-day journey, guys, let us know. Okay, let us know if you've got questions about the stuff. Put those questions in the chat and I will be here to answer those questions to the degree that I can right now. So side by side with that, if you haven't gone and got this resource already, go get this now. Open up a new tab, put that link in the tab right now. That is impactproperties.co.uk/book list. This is the 7 best books. I handpicked these choices myself for you, whether you are a beginner investor or you're an advanced investor as it pertains to property. These are the 7 best books for your property investing success. So if you're interested in succeeding in your property investing journey, guys, go get this. Okay, this is going to help you move forward in your property investing journey. Like I said, you can get that at impactproperties.co.uk/book list. That's impactproperties.co.uk/book list. And one more time for those people who like things in threes, that is impactproperties.co.uk/book list. That link is right there. So with all that being said, guys, if you have questions around negotiation and negotiation no-nos, let me know in the chat. If you guys want the link that I've just shared with you guys in the chat, let me know if you want that in the chat. Yeah, let me see what's happening in the chat. So guys, it's question time. We're opening it up for your questions about negotiation and negotiation no-nos. Let me know what you guys have as questions. And equally, if there are no questions, it's all good. That means we've had a great stream, I hope, where things have been clearly explained for you to be able to move forward. So let me see, guys, if there are any questions in the chat. The great thing is, as of tomorrow, so guys, don't lose your opportunity. As of tomorrow, we are shifting out of managing. We have done 2 days speaking about managing relationships, both yesterday and today. Yesterday we had Atanas in the chat writing some humorous comments about, are we going to do 21 days of relationships, which is very, very interesting. If you guys think we should do that, feel free to email us at info@impactproperties.co.uk and we may consider that. But for now, we're doing this property thing because this is the place where we give you guys that value. And like we said, Impact Properties YouTube channel is the YouTube channel where you get creative property investing on demand. So we've opened it up for your questions. let me know, guys, if you have any. Okay, I can't see any questions coming into the chat. So if you guys don't have any questions, it's all good. I get to go and spend some time with my family. All right, cool. So we're good. We're good. All right. So for the last time, guys, if you haven't hit like and you've got some value from tonight's stream, feel free to hit the like button. Side by side with that, why don't you press that subscribe button if you haven't subscribed to our channel already? It will be great to have you guys on the journey with us, and hit the bell notification. Actually, smash the bell notification so that you let the YouTube world know that you would like to be notified every single time we go live, and side by side of that, every single time that we show up, in order to help you guys move forward in your property investing journey. Now, we've just got a question coming, so I'll take that question before we jump off. Let's see if we get any other questions, because then you guys will be trying to keep me here. But let's see what we are being asked here by Mr. Gavin in the chat. Oh my gosh, here it comes in. Do you guys know the saying? I don't know if you guys know the saying. They say buses come in threes. And if you're a mathematician, your lecturer in university, when you did your maths degree, probably told you to go and buy the book, which is called Why Do Buses Come in Threes? So we had these questions just pop in. We had one question come in, and then bang, bang, a whole another couple came in. So we've got 3 questions here right now. Let's take these questions, and then we will start to wrap up tonight's stream and prepare for day 14, where we shift out of talking about managing and we start talking about measuring deals, which is basically the numbers for my analytical people like me. And also for the people that aren't very analytically inclined. From tomorrow, when we do day 14, day 15, those 2 days, we're going to be talking about how to actually look at deals, how to look at the numbers, return on investment, etc., etc. So if you're brand new, the next 2 days are probably going to be really interesting for you, because then you'll be in a position where when we open up the Q&A, you can start asking questions specifically about maybe the shortfalls, the shortcomings, the issues you've had in terms of understanding how all of those things work as it pertains to the numbers. So we are going to be doing that for day 14 and also for day 15. All right, cool. So let me see the questions. We got Gavin who asked the question: due to agents acting on behalf of the sellers, you rarely get to negotiate with the seller directly. Yeah, and I think it's a great point. It's not a question, but it's a great point. So I would throw this out there to you, Gavin, and also to anyone else who's watching this, because guys, remember, this is about creative property investing on demand. Okay, this is what we do at this channel. We help you get creative property investing on demand so you can move further fast. All right, so let's break this down. The question to potentially ask is, how could I get the opportunity to negotiate directly with sellers more often? That's a great question. Now, anyone who's been on one of our Monday masterclasses, and again, I'll be talking about our next Monday masterclass, which I believe is taking place on the 18th of January. But basically, anyone who's been on one of our Monday masterclasses will know at least one way, because that's one of the, I talk about 3 keys that you can use to basically find great deals in and take advantage in this current climate in our Monday masterclasses. So anyone who's been on our Monday masterclass will at least know one way, if they were paying attention, if they were listening, if they were taking notes, writing it down, they'll at least know one way that you can start to do this. Okay, so again, Gavin, this is not something that is impossible. This is not something that can't be done. And guys, let me say this as well for those people. If you're an estate agent watching this, you might be saying, oh, Samuel's going to teach them to go behind our back. No, I do not teach that. I'm not into circumventing estate agents, partly because I used to be an estate agent. I believe a good estate agent is definitely worth what they charge. I even believe a bad estate agent can be worth what they charge, but the reality is all of that doesn't matter, because if you're not going to buy the property at the right price, it doesn't matter how much you pay the estate agent, in my opinion. So the point I'm making in this regard is I'm not talking about tactics or techniques to go behind estate agents. I don't believe in that. I actually believe that's unethical. Ethics is not just about the seller and the buyer. Ethics is about every other piece of the puzzle. So personally, what I'm trying to share with you guys is the question I would ask off the back of Gavin's statement about, due to agents basically acting on behalf of the sellers, a buyer very rarely gets the opportunity to negotiate with the seller directly, I would say a great question to ask is, what can I do in order to increase my ability, my opportunities, and my probabilities of being able to negotiate with those sellers directly, both when an agent is involved, and then obviously for those who are more creative, when the agent is not involved. Let me see what the other two questions are, and I might come back and give you something that I share with some of my coaching clients, to help you with that as well, to help you with the question I've now added. All right, KTR throws a question in here. At which point in the negotiation do you leave it? Okay, so KTR is speaking specifically about going through a long negotiation as it pertains to a rent to rent. Okay, and KTR says she thinks she might be too stubborn sometimes. Well, from knowing you, I would say, I'm joking. All right, this is what I'd say to you. And again, I threw the comment in there a moment ago. Great questions. I think this is definitely a great question, KTR. So this is what I'd say. When you're dealing with opportunities, so this is not just about rent to rent, and I don't want to make it about rent to rent because there's a lot of us who are on here who are doing more than rent to rent or doing other stuff besides rent to rent. But when you're dealing with opportunities, one of the things you have to remember is that your business, and I believe that everyone should look at their property activity as a property business. Your property business will have a bandwidth, and that bandwidth is going to be stipulated by the resources you have, the people you have access to, the people you have around you, the virtual assistants or assistants that you have, your admin assistants, your executive assistants, your systems, your processes, the spreadsheets you're using, all of the things you use from the beginning to the end of any transaction all stipulate your bandwidth, all stipulate how much you can handle in a week, in a day, in a month, in a year. So the reason I say all that is to say this: if you know, based on you doing like an analysis of your bandwidth, that you can only really take on 2 or 3 deals a month, and you can only really deal with 20 or 30 opportunities a month to sift them and cipher them down to the 2 or 3 deals a month, then you should ask yourself, does this long negotiation fit inside of that capacity? Does it fit inside of the 20, 30 opportunities? Maybe you should even ask yourself this question: if I'm going to have this one long negotiation as one of these 20, 30, what would happen if the majority of these 20, 30 were these long negotiations? Would I ever get 2 or 3 deals in a month? And for many people who are hearing what I'm saying are going to understand, actually, you know what? I can't engage in that. I can't engage in a long-winded negotiation. So what you do is you employ systems to deal with those long negotiations on your behalf. So a great system would be for you to basically go back to the people and say to them, listen guys, obviously it's a rent to rent, so in that regard, a landlord or an agent, and say to that landlord or the agent, listen, we've been speaking about this for a long time. I've already shared with you guys my position. What I'm going to do is I'm going to step back from the negotiation now. I'm going to allow you guys to think about it, or allow you guys to choose someone else. And if, for example, you guys don't have any joy in terms of the process, then just come back to me and I'll be happy to work with you then. And then what you do straight after you've basically physically or verbally shared your position, you then put in place a structure to keep at the top of their mind. So that might be a weekly text message or a monthly text message, depending on the kind of deal that you're dealing with. And that text might say something simple like, hey, this is Ketty. Just wanted to let you know that we're still open to work with you guys. Let us know if we can help you solve your property problem, and if you guys are available to work with us based on some terms that we could both mutually agree. Happy to, work with you, speak to you soon, regards, whatever. That would be a great text message to just basically, if you want to be very, relaxed about it, just copy and paste every single week or copy and paste every single month and send to that landlord or send to that estate agent on a weekly basis. Or if you want, you can kind of shift it and change it every single week. That's up to you. So, KTR, let us know in the chat how many stars for that answer to your question. And thank you for the question. Again, great question. Gavin's question: how do you avoid the agent to negotiate? So Gavin's basically asked the question, which I said I might come back and give you guys a bit of answers on. So let's do this. All right, first and foremost, great question again, Gavin. Appreciate your question. Appreciate everyone's questions on the streams, and I appreciate all of you guys for engaging with us. For those of you who weren't with us at the beginning of this video, I basically shared a lot of appreciation. Our channel is actually growing. A lot of people are hitting subscribe, and also we're getting some great engagement on these 21 days of your property investing success. Obviously, I know people want to grow, people want to move forward. I get that, but it's great to see how you guys are engaging with this content in order to make that happen as well. So thank you ever so much. And as a result of yesterday's stream, where we started talking about negotiation, we had so many people reaching out to me after the stream saying that it was a great stream. So again, guys, we're doing this for you, and I'm glad that you guys are engaging with this as well. So guys, look, feel free to share this content, okay? If you know other people that are going to get value from this, there's a share button usually on your YouTube screen. Just hit that arrow and share it to your friends, family, followers, etc., so they can get value as well. All right, now Gavin asked the question, how do you avoid agents in order for you to negotiate? I'm going to give you one way, and this is a way that I usually share with some of my coaching clients. It's not the only way, but it's a way that I've found to be very, very productive, especially when you work with estate agents. Now, one thing you have to understand, I'm going to give some context about this. One thing you have to understand when working with estate agents is there are scenarios, probably many scenarios, but again, I'll say it, there are scenarios where you are being lied to. There are scenarios where an estate agent is not telling you the exact truth. And this isn't because estate agents are liars or greasy people. No, it's actually because habits are formed in certain industries. And in the industry of estate agency, I know because I used to work in that industry, a lot of the time the habit of lying to a potential buyer is something that's actually built up. So if you're an estate agent and you're watching this, if you're brave enough, you can let me know in the chat if I'm telling the truth, whether you're live or if you're watching on a replay. Again, let us know in the comments, Samuel's telling the truth, man, or Samuel's speaking lies, whatever. But most estate agents will agree with me and say there are estate agencies, maybe not the one you work at, but there are estate agencies where lying is part of the culture, and lying to buyers specifically is really part of the culture. Maybe even lying to sellers as well. I think I can throw that out there as well. KTR, thank you for the 7 stars. But guys, lying can be part of the culture with a lot of estate agencies. The reason I say that is when you understand that as the context, the question is, okay, how do I shift the narrative? How do I put myself in a position where I know I'm speaking directly to the seller, which again starts to answer Gavin's question, but side by side with that, I know that I'm going to get factual and true information coming back. So there is no legal requirement, first and foremost, that stipulates that an estate agent cannot give you direct access to a seller. In many cases, what happens is sellers want to be masked by a estate agent, because in many cases, sellers feel as though an estate agent will do a better job of negotiating on their behalf, or in many cases, a lot of sellers believe that that estate agents are just there to sell property, and they're not. They're an IT consultant, or they're a pharmacist, or they're whatever else. So let the estate agent do their job. Okay, so that's just some context. Now, when you understand that context, one of the things you might want to do, and I've shared this with a coaching client very recently, and it's created a lot of success for them. But again, I share it all the time, but I'll give it to you guys. One of the things you might want to do is ask your estate agent to submit to the seller a letter. Okay, excuse me, guys. That's something you might want to do. You might want to say, look, thank you. Let's say the estate agent is called James. Thank you, James, for all your work and efforts in the negotiation so far. Really appreciate what you've done. We're getting to a point where I really want to push this forward. So what I've done is I've basically written down in a letter exactly where I'm at with this. And what would be great is if you could pass that on, or if I could email it to you and you could forward that to the actual seller. Now, again, obviously you can take out my email address, you can take out my name. I can just basically send you the body of text that I want to convey to the seller, and then you can equally take out their email address or whatever and just convey back to me whatever they email back. Now, the reason I said the last part, which is very, very important, is probably more important than the beginning, about you can just take out their email address and give me back the information that they send back to you, is because you are putting a requirement on that estate agent. You're basically saying to them, look, I'm not just giving you information that I want you to pass to the agent, I'm also expecting information and feedback back from them. Now, look, let me say this. Even in a culture and an environment where estate agents may lie, it's going to be very rare. I'd like to think, I hope, that an estate agent is going to forge a seller's email or create an email, a fictitious email, to respond to your email or to your letter. So what I would encourage you to do, if you're going to take that approach or you're going to take those steps, always make sure you close that question, that request to the actual estate agent with a requirement or an expectation, an open expectation to receive feedback back also. All right. So that should be able to really, really help you moving forward in terms of that. So submit a letter, write an email, ask them to forward your email directly, the exact text and words that you share. Now, one of the ways that we started doing this a lot is because we started getting to a place where we wanted to convey terms to sellers that we didn't feel confident enough that the estate agents were able to convey on our behalf. So because of that, we went into this process years ago of basically saying to the estate agent, listen, I'm going to give you a letter, a handwritten letter, which basically articulates exactly where I'm at with this predicament and the situation. I'd love for you to be able to actually hand that over to the seller. You can read the letter first. I haven't put my name. I've put my name, but I haven't put my email address or any of my contact information. This ain't about me trying to get around you. This is really about me trying to articulate exactly what we're trying to achieve. And based on whatever they say, just feed it back to me. If they write a letter back, hopefully just get that letter to me. Or if they send you an email in response, then get that back to me. And one of the great things you should do is in your letter, clearly convey, again, this is going a bit deeper into some more of the advanced stuff that I teach my coaching clients, but in the letter, you want to clearly convey to the seller that you are really happy about the support you've received so far from the agent, and you want the seller to convey back to the agent their response to the letter, because that does a lot of things. What that does is it builds confidence in the agent's mind, because the agent is probably going to read that letter, and it allows the agent to feel confident that you're not trying to circumvent them, which you're not, and I don't believe in that. But also side by side with that, when that gets back to the seller, that shows the seller that you're actually happy with the agreed structure, the in place structure, and you're looking forward to utilizing that to move forward also. Now, Gavin, let me know in the comments how many stars for your answer to that question. Great question again. Thank you for asking it. Guys, this is what we need. We need the engagement. We need you guys to ask the right questions so you guys can get the right value. Now, with all of that being said, I'm about to be out. So what I'm going to say to you is, if you haven't already, go and register for this up and coming masterclass. We run these masterclasses every single Monday. The title of our masterclass is How to Take Advantage in This Current Climate and Win. And you can use the link right below me. That's impactproperties.co.uk/masterclass in order to help you jump on that masterclass so you can be ready to take advantage in your own property investing journey. That's going to be on Monday at 8 p.m. So we don't do our 21 days of property investing success at 8 p.m. on the same day. We usually do it a bit earlier, and if not, just before. But the point is, guys, if you have not been on this masterclass, I need you to go register for this masterclass and listen to the content. Some of the questions Gavin asked today, he could have potentially got some insights from that masterclass right there. So Monday coming, 8 p.m., we're going to be running that masterclass for you to move forward and further faster in your property investing journey. Now, guys, listen, before I go, I'm going to ask you one more question. And that question is, if you've been getting value from these days, would you like us to put something together, a bespoke package to help you move forward in a more exclusive setting? Let me know, okay? If you're interested, just write the word yes or just write the word interested in the comments. Let me know, okay? Because when we get to the end of these 21 days, for so many of you, it's going to be like a cliffhanger. It's going to be like, I've been getting value every single day, every single day, every single day. If you'd like us to put something bespoke together, something that's going to be an exclusive kind of package of daily engagement with you guys, let us know. We've done boot camps in the past. We can probably run a boot camp off the back of this. Let me know, because guys, this is YouTube content. This ain't just for me. This is about you moving forward. So that's why I'm asking the question to you guys. If you guys are interested in something like that, just write the word yes in the live chat, or if you're watching on a replay, write the word yes in the comments. If you're interested, write the word interested in the comments. And as long as you guys let us know, then we'll put that together. And again, if I'm off this stream, feel free to jump on tomorrow's stream and let us know that you think that's a great idea. And then the moment we know that you think it's a great idea, we'll be able to move forward and rock together on it. Now, without further ado, guys, I'm out. I've been your host, Samuel I Can Win It Kimwin, and it's been my pleasure to work with you on day 13 of the 21 days of your property investing success. So without further ado, let's move further faster in your property investing journey by moving forward now. Happy investing.